the Fed rate cuts, because it's basically like it's open source, right? Anybody can bet. So you're getting like aggregate feedback of the market from the market, right? There's no filter and you can actually make money. So the incentive structures are there. So I think that Polymarket's odds are very accurate. So I go to Polymarket a lot to reference things that I think, will they happen or not? So the Fed rate cut in May, there's a 90% chance Polymarket is calling for no change in the Fed basis rate. So they won't cut it, they won't raise it, there'll be no change.
That's
So
how I feel that way too, though. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Mike and Jake show. Hey, Jake, how are you doing?
best
Um,
day ever, Mike. How are you?
Best day ever. Yep. I was falling asleep and now I'm wide awake. I'm excited. No guest today. It's just going to be me and Jake. We're going to talk. Jake actually has some stuff set up, which is great. Just so you know, we are always looking for more people to be on our show. If you're in real estate or a business owner or anything, reach out to us. We'd love to have you and just pick your brain and learn stuff from everybody. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, reach out. You could either DM Mike or me. You could email us at jake@osmenic.com. That's JAKE@OSMENIC.com. It's a little confusing, but we didn't get the chance to book a guest for this week. A lot of it is us going out and calling people and asking them to be on the show. And we're both running businesses right now. Sometimes we don't get the chance to do that. So today we're just going to film one on our own. And sometimes it's nice to just hear from the hosts, I think. Every time I listen to a podcast, I'm always like, man, I wish I could hear from the host a little bit more. So
Yeah, you want to know what they're doing, right? Are they real? Most of the hosts, are they really in the business? Me and Jake are in the business. We're flipping homes, we're building new homes. Jake, what do you do? You're actually flipping a few homes now, or you just sold them all?
where I'm at right now. So we have done 6 flips on Q1 of 2025, and I've been liquidating my rental portfolio. And we have house buying solutions as a team. It's not me, it's my team. They have we have 9 contracts right now that we're going to be closing on in the next 2 months. It looks like Q2 is going to be a good quarter as well. And then we've also recently figured out a way to be compliant with wholesaling. So we are dabbling a little bit in that now as well. This it's just hard, dude, when you get a seller that is in distress and needs help, it's really hard to be like, I can't help you at all. There's nothing we can, like, it's nice to say, hey, we think we know a couple investors that might be interested in this. And if they say, okay, and we're fully compliant with the law as it stands, then I think we're going to start doing that. So we've been working around that. And after some of the guests we've had on, I think it's made me open my eyes that our mission is to serve Northeast Pennsylvania, right? It's to make the area better. And like, this aligns with our mission. We can't just say no to somebody, right? Like, we got to be able to help everybody that calls us.
Yeah, because you really, every time someone calls me that's in distress, my main thing is once you hear their story and we start talking to them, it's almost like they're a family or a friend, and I
Yeah.
feel like I gotta help them. I'm not even worried about making money. I'm so upset about the situation they're in. Some people, it's just it happens and they don't know what to do. They're scared and they're just caught in a corner. And me and Jake, we know how to I know how to handle pretty much any situation, and I could really help them. But now this new law, it is true. I'm sorry, you're about to die. I can't help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's to me, that's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
I don't care. Sorry about my language, but that pisses me off.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I do this all the time, all 2024, but now I can't. I'm gonna have to let them take your house because I don't want to get sued, go to jail, or a $10,000 fine by the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I feel like if we do the deal, like, honestly, you're in the best hands possible in this area. I truly believe that there's nobody in Northeast PA that is like in Lackawanna, Luzerne County, Columbia County. I don't think there's any better house buyer. I truly believe that. I think we'll serve you the best. I don't know. I've seen so many deals go south, whether it's an agent or it's somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. Like, deals go south all the time, but we really do everything we possibly can to make sure
Yeah.
it was good.
But the good thing about this new law is it's weeding a lot of the guys that were screwing people up.
Yeah.
They're putting their house under contract for 90 days. They're trying to sell it on Facebook. They don't know anybody, and all they are is actually hurting the buyer. I mean, the
Yes.
seller.
Yeah. And
Uh,
the buyer, because 'cause they're saying, "Hey, we can buy it for this price," and they can't really buy it for that price, you
yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, they lie on both ends. It's just nuts. So I'm
Yeah.
glad 'cause I'm starting to see these guys not call me anymore, send me emails
Yeah.
on even on make believe properties.
Dude, I have the metrics because our name is House Buying Solutions Pennsylvania. We are house buyers, so we get calls from wholesalers too. And so January, we had 30 calls from wholesalers from our website number. February, we had 15, and then March, I believe we had 4. And
Yeah.
so April, we haven't finished April yet, so I don't know what April's gonna be, but I believe it's, like, none. So
I feel the same way on my side too because I used to get mad at I hate answering their calls, but they don't know anything. They're like, "Hey, you buy houses?" "Yeah." "Who are you?" "They're a wholesaler." "How many deals you wholesale a year?" "I'm new to it." But he's asking me how much money I have, what am I looking to buy? I just hate those guys, so I don't have them anymore, Jake. I'm happy.
Yeah.
The idiots are gone.
Yeah, I think they've mostly disappeared. They've mostly disappeared,
So
so
there'll be more people for us to help.
yeah, and don't get me wrong, I think people should enter this career path and, like, probably learn the skills that are required to do it, probably by working for somebody first, I would imagine, is the best way.
I think so. You
Yeah.
get a mentor, now you're gonna have to get a real estate license. You don't have to, but I would I don't even know, Jake, how to guide someone anymore.
Yeah, I just think people should do yeah, I don't know. I don't either. I really
I
don't
don't
either.
know. I'm not into training people how to wholesale.
Yeah, me either.
So don't message me, people.
Yeah.
I'll answer questions, and I'm an open book. You can call me, message me, whatever. I always answer, but I'm definitely not a mentor when it comes to wholesaling.
Yeah, and technically under the law, you have to be, like, a licensed broker to be able to be a mentor or a to be able to teach people about real estate. You're supposed to be, like, licensed.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That falls under Act 52 too. Yeah.
And this Act 52 is killing us. It's all
Well,
right.
this show is for entertainment purposes only, folks.
Yeah.
Anything we say is just take it as true or false. It doesn't
Yeah,
really
you do what you want. Now I'm just a cash buyer. So if somebody calls, I'm literally going in there. I'm not thinking about anybody but myself.
dude, so our mission is to serve Northeast PA and to make the area better. And first we're starting with housing. And within the next 8 years, we wanna fix all the housing in Northeast PA. And so the other day, on my birthday, we got a call. So April 22nd was my birthday.
Hey, happy birthday again.
Thank you. And this guy called in and his property was going to be sold tomorrow at tax sale the next day, the 23rd, because they have the special tax sale on the 23rd in Luzerne County. So anyway, we put it under contract, 22nd, my birthday. So guess what I spent the next day doing? So I went to the courthouse the next day. I filed this petition for $450. Basically, you have to sue the county and petition the county not to sell the property on tax sales. And because I had equitable interest in the property, we had a purchase and sale agreement. I'm able to go and stay that tax sale. So all day I pretended I acted like a lawyer. I pretended to be a I played lawyer, which I am not a lawyer. But it's funny if you put on a suit, people
All day long. They changed their whole attitude.
yeah. So anyway, we got that done. Our client, I'm gonna bleep that out if I just said his name because we do respect our client's privacy. He ended up coming to the court and we won at 3 o'clock at the end of the day. We won and we're able to help him. He's going to get more money now. When it goes to tax sale, they add, so right now the unpaid taxes, let's say they're $1,000. When it goes to tax sale, they add 5K, right? So it's 5,000 now. And then it gets bid on it, and you might get like 50K or whatever, and then the seller gets the proceeds from there. So with this, we're able to pay more. We're able to make sure that he gets a number that like he's looking for, and we're able to really help him. So that stuff like that is why one of the reasons I like doing this. Like that was honestly that I could say the 23rd was better than the 22nd, my birthday. I had more fun because I really got to help this person and I got to do something that I hadn't done a lot. It was a new process. I've never been to the Luzerne County Courthouse ever.
No?
So like I went there and that was beautiful courthouse, beautiful courthouse. So that was my week and we got a lot of deals going on. So how's everything with you?
Good. But that's see, that's what people don't realize what we actually do.
Yeah.
They don't see that side. They just say, "Oh, look, these guys buy homes. We buy houses for cash." We're not those guys. We're those guys that care about people.
Yeah.
I've done deals where I made no money.
Me too. I've
No?
lost money.
Be
Yeah.
yes, but I help somebody. But people don't see that. I help these people stay in their house. Remember the one guy you helped, I found a lead. Ah, what was he? He was gonna live in his car, Jake.
Yeah.
I don't wanna say his name. He was an older guy, a veteran,
Yep. Yep.
and,
I was actually what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, and you saved him.
Yeah. Yeah, he was underwater,
Yep,
go foreclosure, and he needed to stay in the same school district, because his daughter was about to graduate. She was in her senior year, and so we helped. We called every single apartment in that school district, and then we tried to find him an apartment. And then we offered a cosign too.
yep,
So it's when you have a cosigner that's a company, it's a little bit easier to get an apartment.
sure.
So that
And once
helped.
and like I said, once again, that's what people don't know, what we really do or how
Yeah,
much we really care. We're not looking to people think that, we're out trying to rob their house from them and then sell it for big profits.
yeah. Dude, and I've rented
And
to other people where, like, the cosigner is a home buyer out of Philly or something. Like, I've rented to people
yeah,
like
but what about that guy? I think he was in Larksville or something like that. He was
well,
older.
let's not mention any specifics 'cause
No, I just said town.
yeah. But, yeah,
I bought 100 houses in that town, so
yeah, yeah, and he was trying to stay yeah. Yeah, that's what's awesome about it, man,
yeah,
is you're able to do that, and if you're an agent, right? So if you're an agent, you don't have equitable interest in the contract, in the property, so you couldn't have petitioned the court like I did the other day, right? You have to be like a buyer. So that's where this falls. That's where the wholesale. So I've been trying to figure out like where does wholesale fit in this new environment? And this deal, we're not wholesaling. We're buying this. We're buying this. We're closing on this, as are the majority of our deals. I just said we're starting to think about wholesaling and dabble in it maybe, but that's where wholesaling fits right there. Is where you can go that extra mile and do those things. So I figure there is definitely a market need for wholesaling. Is my conclusion.
yeah, besides flipping and wholesaling and
Flipping too. You don't have to be a wholesaler. You could just be the buyer like I was on this one. But if you were a wholesaler that was really good, you would have to be under contract to do that. You couldn't just have you couldn't have a listing agreement, I don't think. So,
no, I don't think so either.
yeah.
Yeah, it's too crazy, but I still answer the phones and people still call me and they still call you and anybody out there listening, probably you're not distressed, but I buy your house. But
Yeah,
if you're a retired landlord, I'd love to take over your property too.
we wanna be the best buyers we possibly can be. What makes us different as a buyer is we're easy to work with, and we're not gonna a lot of people are gonna do a lot of inspections and appraisals and all this stuff. We're not gonna do any of that. We're gonna walk through it once or twice, and that's it. And we're gonna stay out of your hair, and we're gonna give you a number that we're not gonna knock you down on. So that number that we give you is the number you can expect to walk away with 30 days from now.
Sure, because of a lot of wholesalers over the years I've been doing this, another wholesaler will give a crazy number. I tell them that there's physically no way they're going to get you that, and they're going to knock you down the day of closing, and they do. You know,
Yeah.
it was always the out of state person. I
Buyers
never,
too. Buyers too.
yeah,
The whole process is okay, you list your house high, and then once you go under contract, someone inspects it. Once you get the inspection report down, then you negotiate. That's the whole game.
you always know it's coming. Every time I build a house or I flip a house, they're like, "We're doing inspections today." I'm thinking, "All right, they're going to come back with, they want something."
Yeah, they
And it
want
always happens. I just sold a house. I closed on a house Monday, and it was the same thing. And they didn't ask for a lot. It was probably like I think $2,000.
yeah,
You know what? Okay, because something came in inspection. I don't even know what it is, The realtor's a moron. I didn't I was like, "What how much does it cost?" She's 2,000. "Fine, take it. I'll sign it. I wanna sell the house."
Yeah.
Yeah. What it was the when was your birthday? Your birthday was Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Wednesday is when I fell in a hole. We're digging a water line for a new house, and I just been so miserable. So we're digging a water line. It's about 350 feet. We had to go 52 inches down. We're actually about 6 feet at this point. We went down too far. And then all that dirt gets lifted up on the side, and now it's about 8, 9 feet high, and I'm up there trying to videotape, make my TikToks and Facebook and Instagram, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah," and I slip. Jake, I'm telling you, when I fell down, I was like, "Ah," and I caught the corner of this side, and I'm laying on the pipe in the hole, and all my guys went to
No
lunch.
shows there.
And I had it, and I told you, I said, "Yo, dude," I had to delete it right away, and then I was like, "You know what? I know I'm gonna end up posting it," so I went in
I
my delete files because that's not good for business. So I want you to buy a new home from me, and then they got me falling in a hole, I was like, "I gotta delete it."
might have went viral. You might have got
Yeah, but
20
it's alright,
kills.
I'd rather talk about it, but yeah, I got it all banged up, my wrist is bruised, I got cuts on my thing, I just it was bad. It
It
was
was so right
it
after this happened, Mike called me, and he was, like, so distraught. It sounded like someone killed his puppy. It
and all
was
you're caring about is, "Yo, let me see the video." That's why I deleted it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Uh
another reason we don't have a guest because a lot of stuff happened this week.
Yeah, we were working, I was working all week, I was working all day today till it's we're recording this at 9 o'clock at night,
Yeah,
you know,
show must go
Jake
on.
says, "Hey, I'll call you at 4:30." I figure I'll be done on the job site around 4:30. He said, "I'm going out to eat, I'll be back later." So I'm like, "Wow, it was like 8 o'clock." I'm like, "He's not gonna call me." Ding, "Hey, you wanna do a podcast?" I'm not gonna say no. I'm like, "Yeah, let me just wait, give me 1 hour."
We're professionals.
We are
We gotta be doing
professionals,
yeah,
but I'm starting to get clients now for the modular world. So I'm dealing with clients during the day trying to design their homes, and yeah, it's a whole different world. I rather building a spec home is a lot easier because we decide what the color is, everything is. When you build for a customer, from everything starting from the outside, what it looks like, all the options in the kitchen, the bathrooms, the color of this, what kind of granite, what kind of this. I like these handles. I want this color door. Hey, I
there's a
want
lot of
to
options, yeah, there's a lot.
Jake, I'm ripping my hair out of my head,
Yeah,
but it's worth it. In the end, it's worth it, and they're happy. In the modular world, it's totally different because we have to do all that ahead of time,
yeah,
and then they sign off, everything's good, and we order the house. So they're
yeah,
not as we're not stick building. We're sitting there on site. They come in once a month. They're coming to look and say, "Oh, you know what? I want to change this." It's too late.
yeah,
This house,
I mean,
the house
you
can come
told
complete.
were you the one that was saying, like, they can put on a VR headset and basically walk through what their future home would be, or is that's definitely the future, but
So
what
you could do 3D tour, and I could have tours of these houses. Right,
yeah,
and you could put a VR glass on the Matterport Toro. So I have the glasses now that I was gonna start scanning a lot of the houses we do, and then I'll have them in my thing. So if someone says, "Oh, I want this chalet, I want this two-story or ranch," and I'll show them, "Hey, I have this one I did," where I'll have the Matterport Tour, and they can actually put the headset on and just walk around. Wow,
yeah,
it's neat. I like stuff like that.
that's absolutely the future.
I'd rather them come to me than me get in a car and drive 45 minutes over there, 2 hours this way. Hey, just come, let's meet and we'll hook this all up.
When you're hiring a custom builder, you don't know what you're getting 100%. Like, you're seeing the plans, you're putting the plans together, you might have some like, you can have a lot of drawings and all that, but yeah, at the end of the day, you can really pick, like, everything from the knobs to
Yes,
and
and
you can see it before you do it
yes,
through
in my
the
manufacturer world, I'll actually take the customer to the manufacturer that's gonna build their house.
yeah,
So I take them there, and it's better than having an office because everything is there. They could actually see the handle. Hey, here's this handle, here's this whatever. Here's all the different granites and whatever else you want to pick out. It's all there. Here's the siding, here's the flooring. They could see the real color, not just going on a website and clicking that option. And then you're like, oh, I don't really like that color.
yeah,
They could see it, feel it, touch it. And then they take a tour of the whole factory and you see the guys working, how houses are built.
yeah.
And they really get excited.
Yeah,
And
that's a
and
fun.
on and on top of that, the manufacturer's my sales guy, he really knows the product. So he's like, "Hey, do you wanna do this and do that?" So he I let him handle most of it. I could tell them what to I show them and I say, "This is what I would do." I always tell them, "Hey, why don't you do 9-foot ceilings instead of 8-foot ceilings? And why don't we put recessed lighting instead of just having one light in the middle of the room or no light?"
Yeah. It's similar to the IKEA model. IKEA,
Sure.
you go to the warehouse, you walk through setups, you look at what items you want within that setup. So it's a
Yep.
whole room is set up.
I love IKEA. I love those setups.
Dude,
I
and
I
and
get
you
so
know
many
what?
ideas.
And the shopping experience is fun, right?
Yeah.
Because you get to see it's fun.
I don't know
So
how it's fun inside, and then you leave with your boxes. You gotta go home and put it together.
oh, yeah. Dude, I'm looking at boxes right now that have been sitting here for a few days.
Oh, you went to IKEA.
Yeah, I did. That's why
Yeah, yeah.
I went there for my birthday.
Uh,
That's how fun it is.
oh, you got did you get the Swedish meatballs?
Of course, of
Yeah,
course. Yeah.
that's just crazy.
I just read a biography about the founder of IKEA. He's got a Swedish name, so I can't pronounce it, but, he's an amazing founder. So I wanted to go to IKEA because I just finished that, so,
Real
but
cool. I buy a lot of stuff and it lasts, and I do walking around and seeing all those, like, setups.
yeah.
It's
It
it's
he
it's pretty cool.
Dude, he was a man, he was incredible, that guy that like, before you had assembly of furniture, he's the one that invented assembly of furniture, basically, like, I think he is the one that came up with, "Hey, we can ship it in smaller boxes, and it doesn't have to be fully assembled, they can assemble it at home." And now, like, all of our furniture, whether like, I literally unless I buy it from Goodwill or Salvation Army, most of my furniture is coming from IKEA, Amazon, or Walmart. I'm not buying, like, luxury furniture, so, yeah.
IKEA's nice.
IKEA is really nice,
Yeah.
and you can get really nice assembly furniture, like,
They
really
have
nice stuff.
full kitchens you could buy now. I'm just shocked when I go there.
Yeah, you can get everything. Like, I honestly
Anything
don't
in that
know.
room anything in that room that they design from the kitchen counters and you could
Yeah,
buy all that.
yeah, yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it's cool.
it might be better. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But, like, modular is kinda like that. That's what I was saying. It's like I could see modular being a similar way where
Yeah,
you walk through different yeah.
it's neat. It's de listen, these houses are built better, faster, stronger, more energy efficient. There's a whole slew of stuff. I don't wanna get into modular right now with you, but it's pretty neat, and I'm glad I'm not the one putting it together. I am. I have to do all the site work, and then we take those big boxes, and then that's what we do. You sharing a screen, Jake?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's
it's been a crazy time, right?
it has been. So Jake put a presentation together, and this is our first presentation ever on the Mike and Jake show.
Yeah, that's another thing. We're
So
testing the
we're
presentation.
testing.
Yeah.
All right.
So what's going on right now, Mike? The market's been crazy. There's been a lot of crazy stuff happening.
Yes, and you really do follow it.
You
Jake
don't?
tells me every day when I talk to Jake, he'll tell me, "Yo, you see what's going on in the market? See what's happening with Zillow? Mike, you see what's going down?" Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening right now. It's a lot
"Yeah."
to keep track of,
And
honestly.
you're great at that. I
I
always have
honestly don't know, like, how you could watch a TV because, like, real life is, like, pretty crazy.
yes, and especially in the business we're in, either you have to surround people like Jake around you. That's what I do. So I don't have to sit and watch the
Yeah,
Fed and everything else because Jake will text me before it even comes out on the news. He'll be like, "Ding, yo, watch
yeah.
what rates are going down."
Dude, I watch them live. I watch
I
everything live because
yeah,
that's the only way. Because you watch the news and it's got its tilt on it, you know what I mean?
all day long. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I feel like that's the only way, and I enjoy it, so I guess
You do it if you enjoy it, just like you just said, you went to IKEA and then you wanted to learn about the founder because you just think it's so great,
yeah, it is pretty cool.
right?
IKEA
So
is pretty
to me,
neat.
that's cool that you do that. Me, I
Okay.
didn't go to IKEA and say, "Wow, man, I wanna know who owns this."
I read about him beforehand, and then I'm
Eh,
like I was
okay.
just so impressed.
Yeah. It
But
is
yeah,
impressive. It is a whole impressive deal, but
yeah. He used 0 no debt at
no
all.
doubt.
No debt.
Some people agree with that, some don't.
It all depends about how you wanna build your business. I think over leverage is bad, but some leverage is probably good.
Over leverage, no good, without a doubt.
Yeah. Speaking of leverage, Fed
So,
rate cuts, and
May
so
7th.
Yeah, the Fed is meeting May 7th. Jerome Powell and all them. They're supposed to meet. And what do you think they're going to do? Are they going to cut rates?
Oh no, they're definitely cutting him. He's out. So I
Jerome
mean,
Powell.
he's gone.
That's yeah. Trump can't. Congress would have to fire Jerome Powell. Technically,
Yeah. He's retiring, he says.
is he? Has he mentioned that?
Yeah, he's supposed to be leaving. Look it up while you're on the thing.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, I might be watching fake news somewhere, dude.
Yeah, we gotta check. We gotta fact check this.
But we're gonna fact check real quick before we start
No,
going to the.
I'm pretty sure he's pretty mad about Trump
Oh,
saying what he's saying.
he's definitely.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I don't know where we're going with this rate.
yeah. I don't think Jerome Powell has any intention of stepping down, and Trump is saying that he wouldn't fire him anyway now. Like the most recent rhetoric is like Trump is saying he wouldn't fire Jerome Powell. He wouldn't do that. Why would he have to?
Yeah, he'll kill him.
Anyway, so they're supposed to be cutting rates, or they might be cutting rates,
So
but
what's the rate now?
so the rate
6?
is, I think it's 4.25 to 4.50, the Fed basis rate. Let me double check that. So the Fed basis rate currently is 4.25 to 4.50, like I said. So I was dead on. And so they would be cutting it. I mean, they can cut 50 basis points, 25 basis point. A basis point is basically 0.01%. Right here, this is a Polymarket. Have you heard of Polymarket?
No, tell us.
Polymarket is it's basically an open source betting app. You can't legally do it in the United States, but all over the world people bet on current events and the likelihood of them happening right now. And it's actually been surprisingly accurate, like very accurate. Polymarket predicted the Trump election as it's predicted basically every event in the last 4 months accurately. So the Fed rate cuts, because it's basically like it's open source, right? Anybody can bet. So you're getting like aggregate feedback of the market from the market, right? There's no filter and you can actually make money. So the incentive structures are there. So I think that Polymarket's odds are very accurate. So I go to Polymarket a lot to reference things that I think will they happen or not. So the Fed rate cut in May, there's a 90% chance Polymarket is calling for no change in the Fed basis rate. So they won't cut it, they won't raise it. There'll be no change.
That's
So
how I feel that way too, though.
yeah, exactly. That's the consensus. Politically speaking, like he doesn't want to give up that political loss probably. And then they're typically behind anyway. So
Mm,
it would make sense that they wouldn't cut right now. They would wait. So
he's gone, dude. I'm telling you. Did you look it up?
I did. I didn't see anything where he said he was retiring. That's why I didn't
Okay.
share. So I didn't see, I typed in Jerome Powell retiring and I didn't see anything.
Or leaving. Why'd you say leaving?
I think so. I've kept up on it a little bit because I watch every time Jerome Powell speaks and every time Trump speaks. And Jerome Powell basically says he can't fire me. Congress can only fire me. I'm not stepping down.
Yeah,
And
he
then,
loves to say that. Yep.
yeah. And Trump has basically changed his rhetoric in the last few days to say we don't have to fire Jerome Powell. He's basically going to get in line. That's what he's saying. But the Treasury yield market. So this is what mortgages are based off of. So the 5-year Treasury yield is basically a lot of your hard money products are shorter term rate based. So the 5-year yield is what I'm told is what a lot of hard money products are based off of. And the 10-year yield, or even shorter, maybe the 2-year yield as well. We'd have to ask Joe Scarice or somebody like that.
We
But
might have to get him on the show.
we'd love to have you on, Joe, if you're watching right now.
Joe, yeah, I don't know if he'd get in about 30 minutes on the this podcast. I listen to the whole thing, but Joe's a busy guy.
Yeah, we'll see.
We should get Joe Scarice. There's a few people we're still waiting on.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's busy. It's hard to get him. That's what it
Yeah,
is. A lot of people that we want to get are busy. So,
they are busy, and we'll go on any time of the night. It's
we
Friday
will.
night after 9, and me and Jake are on.
Yeah, we're doing this almost
No,
at 10 o'clock at night right
no
now.
happy hour, nothing for us. We're home.
But the 10-year yield is what your 30-year mortgage is based off of, your conventional mortgage typically. And that's been going crazy. As you can see, it rose rapidly after Trump was elected. It dropped after Trump was elected. And then after they announced the tariffs, it's been like it went down sharply and then it went back up. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going on with the treasury market, but so far it has started to come back down. So we're at 4.2%. At the beginning of the year, it was all the way up 4.7%. So yields are coming down. That means mortgage rates are coming down, which would mean more people refinance, more people buy, all that stuff.
And that's good for us.
And it's good for us as sellers. There's a couple theories because in 2008, the inventory didn't really start to stack up on the market until they cut rates. So once mortgage rates started going down, then people finally started like moving a little bit more, and inventory even got worse. But I'm not saying this is anything like 2008, so I shouldn't even reference that. But Trump is offering. So you know about the Trump coin, Mike?
Yes.
Okay, so
You
the
bought?
Trump coin, dude. So when he announced the Trump coin, I was laying in bed, right, and I
Mm,
did buy the next day. But when I was laying in bed, I didn't buy, and that's when it really shot up when he announced it.
yeah.
And what I learned from that experience is if a president of the United States ever announced a cryptocurrency, you need to get out of bed and buy it immediately, no matter how tired you are. Okay. So that's a lesson I could give because I bought it the next day and then there was a massive sell off and I lost money. But dude, from the time I went to bed to when I woke up, it went up
You could have
like
made $1,000,000.
I could have if I put 50K into it, I would have made like $1 million. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But now he's offering so a lot of crypto, a lot of these coins and stuff, they were talking about like creating good projects where you could redeem these NFTs and stuff for actual real world items. That's the whole like promise of these things
Yeah.
is that good developers are you're gonna be able to redeem this token for dinner with Trump. So that's what Trump is doing with this coin. He's announcing that he's gonna have dinner with 220 holders of the Trump coin. So since then it went up 60%, but he just announced that today or a couple days ago. So that's interesting. That's cool. But that's a step in the right direction because a lot of these crypto projects, that's what it needs to be like. It's
We're
gonna,
making a Mike and Jay coin,
yeah. I mean, and our coin, we're not gonna pump and dump ever.
and you can have dinner with us.
Yeah, you can have dinner and you get to sleep at Mike's house
Why
one
my
time.
house?
You have a bigger house. That's fine. So there's a lot of market turbulence going on right now. I'm sure you've seen the sell off and everything. One of the things I want to remind everybody is that Trump literally gave checks to everybody, right? You remember that? Remember when you got a check if you made under $75,000 a year? You got a check signed to you from Donald Trump?
I didn't get that check.
I got one. I didn't get the other ones. I guess there was more. But freaking Trump is not Trump will print money. Is my he's not a republic like he's not your conventional conservative Republican. He's identified as a Democrat the last 40 years. I don't think Trump is like a conservative Republican by any means. So this leads us to our next thing about tariffs and stuff, which we'll get into later. But real quick, I want to just anytime there's distress in the market, it's a really good opportunity to buy. Distress in the housing market, distress in the stock market. This is when you buy. You don't buy when everybody's buying. You buy when prices are low. That's you buy when prices are low. You don't buy when prices are high. But instead, everybody buys when prices are high. It's so
That's
weird.
it is weird because you're right on, dude.
It's so weird.
And I've done it before too.
Yeah.
But people get scared, right? Oh, no one's buying, right? People are selling off things. I'm not buying now. I'm going to wait till things get better. Well, you're going to pay more. You know? I'm going to wait till interest rates get lower. Yo, when the interest rates get lower, I'm raising the price on my properties.
Yeah, that means everybody's buying, right?
Yeah, raising.
So whether we see distress in the housing market or the stock market, the United States of America is the most secure place to invest in the world, hands down, by far, for the last 200 years. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. Just think about it. If you had $5 billion, Mike, would you put it into China? Do you think you'd maybe the Chinese government might decide that they're going to keep that money or something? Or
They
like
I
maybe they
give 'em
don't like what you're doing and they're just going to hold that.
I give them 5,000,000,000, they're just gonna say thank you.
So
Yeah.
that's what a lot of US companies are starting to find out as we're decoupling from China. But yeah, so I think the United States is the best place to invest. and the stock market is going to rebound like it always has forever. And any
I mean,
downturn is just an opportunity to buy more.
I wish I bought on that big downturn.
I bought.
That's why you're rich. Me, I'm that guy again going, "Oh, we should be buying. I should buy." And I wake
And
up
then you don't
tomorrow,
buy.
it went back up 5,000 points.
Yeah.
What? I missed
No,
it.
that's you have to be ready for these opportunities.
Yeah, and I am, and it's when I'm like that guy that you were just talking about when you're supposed to buy and they don't buy. That
Yeah.
was me. I'm like, "Ah, no, maybe it'll go down a little bit more tomorrow. Maybe then I'll do it." And then we already shot up.
Yeah. You don't know how I expect it. I don't think it's gonna continue to shoot. I think it might go down a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, I hope he does something crazy again, like 200% on to China and things will just go shoo, and I'm buying.
Yeah. I'll tell you, if
My
it goes
phone
down,
is
I'm gonna
on
buy.
set to buy.
Yeah. I have alerts set up for certain prices, and then
Yeah,
I'll go log in and buy.
yeah,
Yeah, you should any opportunity you get to buy at a cheap price, that's great.
yes, because we know it's gonna go back up.
Yeah, and same thing with housing. Anytime there's distress in the housing market, that's when you get opportunities, right? You get opportunities to buy good deals. There's more opportunities. So distress isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Alright, so
It's
what is
fine.
this? Oh, that's why Trump's in a helicopter here? We're talking
Yeah,
about
I don't think Trump is gonna crash the economy. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think he's not opposed to printing. Let me get into I he said I'm gonna fast forward to a couple slides, which we don't have to go through all this, but
2, it's Friday night, I'm not gonna be on here all night.
yeah, we're not gonna go through all
Wait,
but
okay.
some of it's important. Trump, he thinks he's talked about, like, the United States assets, like, the assets of the United States are way more than our debt. I think his perspective is that the assets on the balance sheet of the United States of America pay that debt off like nothing. I don't think he's too afraid of the debt. And I actually attached a YouTube video here of Scott Bessent, our new Treasury Secretary, speaking about the new Bretton Woods that they're trying to pull off. So Bretton Woods, after World War II, Henry Dexter White and Keynes, they were the primary figures of the Bretton Woods agreements that were drafted in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, after World War II. And that was the new deal, the new economic policy for the United States going forward. And basically, we lowered all of our tariffs, we kept them low, we helped other countries rebuild because they were destroyed during the war, and we kept with our economic policy until we went off the gold standard in the 70s, and we made no real change, no new agreement or anything then. But now I think what Trump is doing is he's announcing broad-based tariffs to get everybody to the negotiation table to where he can draft, and his team mostly can create these negotiations and these agreements that trump the Bretton Woods agreements by far. Which would maybe it's like a deal with Japan where, hey, Japan, you buy zero of our cars. You have to buy 100,000 of our cars if we buy 200,000 of yours, or you have to do this or something. So I think he's bringing people to the negotiation table, and I don't think the tariffs are a permanent thing. I do think maybe a base tariff, like a small tariff, is probably a way to add additional revenue to pay down the debt, to drop the treasury yield because you want to drop the treasury yield to get more economic activity in the economy. But I don't think they're a permanent thing. The biggest ones were China. And I personally think that we're headed to World War III in the next 10 years, but that's a whole nother subject. So,
Oh, no, we'll get off.
but yeah, so I think we're currently living through a period of a new economic deal being drafted, similar to the Bretton Woods agreements after World War II. And it's a crazy time to be alive. It's a crazy time to be alive.
One
So
of the best times.
it is.
I'm glad
Real
I'm
quick,
alive.
Zillow predictions, because this made real estate news pretty heavy in April. So Zillow came out April 2025. They forecast metro level home price changes March 2025 to March 2026. So they're saying there's a home value decline of about 1.7% nationally. So they're expecting a bear market in the housing market over the next year. These big dots are where you're seeing a lot of declines or price drops currently up in the Northeast. You can see the chart here. You can rewind this video and zoom in on this if you need to. And right here's the link, REIS, or Resi Club Analytics. You can also find this on Zillow. But this is a
Hey,
notable shift.
You could also put the links on the description too, right?
Yeah, I can.
I'm
So
sorry to give you extra work. Sorry.
thank you. Home values, Zillow is expecting home values to climb about 1.7%, and they've downgraded their outlook each month as
So
inventory grows.
so what's the heavier state? That's Florida?
Right now, so
So how
mortgage,
about us? Do we know right here in Northeast PA?
the Northeast is hot. So I do have a slide in here about the Northeast. So the Sun Belt has been getting smoked, right? They overbuilt in the Sun Belt. So right here, this is new apartment starts in the United States over the last 60 years. And you can see in 2021, 2022, when rates are low, you get a massive spike in apartment starts. It takes 2 to 3 years for them to complete. And then they complete, and now you have inventory on the market. So we've had a few million apartment units be completed in the last year or two in these Sun Belt cities like Florida, Texas, Arizona. And they're mostly targeted at earners that are earning $75,000 or more per year. But that is softening up the rental market pretty significantly in these markets. And likewise, they've been building, that's where the housing builds have been started, is
Oh.
those markets. So those markets are seeing price drops right now. Those markets have significantly cooled. It's a good time to buy in Florida.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I think the same with Arizona too.
yeah, Arizona as well.
I'm in an Arizona group and I watch them there, and it looks like they're starting to struggle a little bit. Prices are dropping a little bit. They're offering special things for new construction, so they give them incentives and they'll give them free upgrades and
They
all
buy
kinds of
down the rate, they do zero
yeah,
down. And Florida's been really getting hit hard.
because they just everybody was building there.
That's where everybody went down. Everybody from New York,
Yep.
New Jersey, they all went down there. I was down in Florida in 2024, and I was there for 3 months, and, like, everywhere you look, new building, new houses, and everyone you talk to in real estate from New York, from so it was everybody does real estate in Florida. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the primary job.
I'm a real estate investor. Yeah, everybody is.
Yeah, everyone's a real estate investor in Florida. But this is interesting, Mike, and this pertains to you. So new construction starts, as you can see, like new construction starts have been like so low starting 2000 after the great financial crisis. Like people really haven't been building, and that's
Yep.
what's led to our
That's
house.
why we have a house shortage.
Yeah, yeah. And so right now, what they're saying is new home sales have actually been up. So home sales have been up 6%, or
Because you just showed the medium house price is about 425,000,
correct?
right?
Yeah,
So I'm working with a broker now. We're gonna partner up and build a house together. He wanted to build affordable housing. And I said, "What's affordable housing?" And he's 375 to 425. And
yes,
to me, that's just crazy.
yeah,
But when we took a tour of a development and I see what's selling for 400,000, right? They're gonna buy a 100-year-old home. It's
yep.
outdated. They're gonna have to put 100,000 of work in it. So, do you really wanna buy that house for 400? Or I can make you one for 400 brand new, and you're
100,
good for 15 years. Nothing
100.
should be wrong with that house for 15 years. It shouldn't be wrong for 25 years, but I'm just saying 15 years, you don't really have to put a damn dollar into anything.
Yep, exactly. And that's why I think, like what I do with flipping, renovating old houses, I think once we get to the new construction stage, that's when it doesn't make sense anymore. Once we get to that price level, it doesn't make sense anymore. But as long as we can stay affordable, like below the new
Yes.
construction price, then we're
What
good.
what you've been doing has been doing great.
Yeah,
You're getting houses at a great price. You're helping that person out, but you're then able to make that house 100 times better, and someone could really afford to go in there. That's why your houses just go like that.
they go like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're
They
built.
put the sign in the thing, and she's pulling it right out. "I sold it." I'm
Yep,
like,
and
"Get
and
out."
that's why the Northeast is still hot. So in my other slide, the Northeast is hot still, which is interesting. It's people moving back from down south, coming back, having kids, stuff like that. The millennial generation.
Yeah, so I have a guy from California, right? Called me, I think, on your birthday, and he wants to move back here.
Yep,
So now he's just trying to figure out what he'd afford. So we were going over housing prices. He lives in about a 1,200 square foot ranch out in California, And he's telling me, "Listen, Mike, I need to keep it under 800,000." I said, "What?" I'm thinking, "How big? What kind of ranch do you want?" And then we started talking. He's like, "Holy smokes, I'm gonna have a lot of extra money left." I said, "Yeah, that's good for you."
Yeah, he can buy a mansion and then some out here. He
Yeah. I said, "Hey, do you want a 4,500 square foot home?
Yeah.
4-car garage, I put a pool."
Yeah.
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 No, it's nuts. It just he's having a shock, and he was originally from this area, and now he's coming back. He doesn't like it out there.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
that's
good for him.
exactly why this area is gonna stay hot until that affordability goes away.
Or we run out of property, yeah.
Yeah,
If taxes go up, there's a lot of things, you
which
know?
they are. All those things are happening
Yeah,
too. I think the Northeast is in pretty good shape, I'd say. But like you said, the affordability thing, the price is 375, 425. That's the price. That's
yeah,
affordable.
but that's still a lot of money. So
That is
for someone your age to come buy their
100K
first
down.
home for 425,000, I to me, that's nuts. It's
It is
nuts. It's nuts.
100K, 100K down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're renting a place that's probably 2,000 a month. I don't know how they say.
But like you said, it
S
makes sense to buy something new. If you're looking at a renovated house for 350,000 or a new construction for 425, why wouldn't you just buy the new construction, you
All
know?
day long, have less headaches, so then you just know that you don't have to worry about anything. I got a beautiful house on
Your
10,
your
15 year.
insurance is better,
Yes.
everything.
You probably I don't know if they give better interest rates for a new house, but
They might.
yeah, I'm not sure because I just build them. I don't really care about the interest rate, to be honest with you, but it does matter to me because I need people to be able to go get loans and buy houses, but I don't really pay attention to that, and I'm gonna start paying attention.
Yeah, yeah. I think they probably do,
Yeah,
so
I'm gonna ask one of my bankers tomorrow.
but if you're looking $200,000 house is pretty affordable, and you can't really touch that with new construction,
Yes,
so
and once you put a house up 200,000 under, it is selling.
oh, yeah, it's if it's
But
in good shape, yeah.
yes, what's crazy about was it 2000 when were the interest rates like 9% when they were high, right?
When?
About a year and a half ago?
Oh, yeah, I mean
That then hurt me. That $200,000 house I was having a problem selling because it was somebody looking for affordable housing, but that made a big difference in their mortgage payment.
oh,
They
yeah,
so the $200,000 house I couldn't sell, I was selling the five and $700,000 house
yeah,
at that point
yeah,
because it was a different kinda person had more money. "Oh, I don't
yeah,
know, I'm gonna pull the money from this account or that account," not a big deal, but that the school teacher or the firefighter, whatever they were, that was a big deal.
yeah.
It was really
Initially
it was killing us. I got stuck in that one house for 16 months.
yeah, yeah, that's the thing, those changes don't affect the wealthy as much initially.
No,
But so,
and I when rates are high like that, like I said, we lower the price, I want people to buy.
yeah.
And I tell people, cut a house down $100,000. We had plenty of equity. It's a higher end house. And they're like, I want to wait for the rates to come down. I said, if the rates drop, I'm telling you, I'm going to add 200,000 to this house. Buy now at this discount. And then in 12 months, when they drop the rates, you refinance and you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, rates aren't high.
You know,
Rates are not high right now.
they really weren't, not now, but a year ago they were.
They were getting there. They were but
So,
still, even then, they were
yes, that was at average of the last 30 years, correct?
yeah,
9%
something
or
like
something
that.
like that.
Yeah, something like that,
So we
yeah.
everyone just got spoiled at 2%. It was free money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I honestly, I should have just bought everything
I wish I was
on the
more
bank's
educated.
dime. I really wasn't thinking then. No.
No, I wasn't I was younger, so
Yeah, you
yeah.
were 3,
Yeah. Yeah, that would've been
but that was free money, and
dude,
I
your
wasn't
debt payment was less than what inflation is. So if your debt's at 2%, inflation's at 3%,
was
that's
crazy.
you're literally
That was
making 1% on debt. Like,
that was just nuts.
yeah,
Free money, and I didn't use it.
and Dave Ramsey says, "Don't take out debt ever."
Now, you do subject to because that person has that 2% rate.
Yeah, yeah, and we actually have one of those right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, the new constructions are still selling as long as they're within that affordable price range. And DR Horton is a home builder. They
Mhm.
build 90,000 houses a year, and their average home sale is 375,000. So they're right in that affordability category, and they've seen massive success. So I think, like, what's going to pull us into 2025, 2026 is these affordable houses needs to be built, needs to happen.
My calculator can't even add that up, what he makes.
Oh, yeah, dude, they're the biggest home builder in the country.
Yeah,
So,
so he's
yeah,
they're doing 90,000 homes?
90,000 a year. 90,000
Oh,
a year. Yeah.
I wanna do 100 a year.
Yeah, it makes it seem like what we're doing is literally nothing. Like literally nothing.
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
but it shows that it's possible. You can build 90,000 homes a year, Mike, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, I'm all for it, dude,
It's
but
incredible.
we're getting there, but I can't be falling in the water ditch.
Yeah, don't fall in any more
I
holes.
gotta stop making TikTok videos on site.
Look, this is a really interesting crap. I don't know. I guess I didn't put the chart in. But yeah, so this is the new home starts. You can see
Mhm,
the chart hasn't really spiked at all. And then this is the apartment. So people have been building apartment buildings rather than homes the last 10, 15 years. The starter home in the affordable home is in demand, like high.
and those are a lot of syndication stuff too,
Yeah, it's a lot of people raising money in
and they got hurt too,
Wall
'cause
Street.
insurance went up. That was killing their numbers. A friend of ours was telling us, I guess they had, like 400 units somewhere, and the insurance went from 1,000,000 to 3.5 million,
Oh yeah, that was big. Yeah.
and at the end of that's killing them.
Yeah. And then the interest rate changed, and a lot of
Yep,
people got refinanced or took out new debt when they were at 2%, 3%, 4%, and they when you get a commercial loan, it's usually
every 5.
5, 7,
Yeah,
10 years. The best investors get 30-year fixed rate debt or 20-year fixed rate debt, but it's hard. You have to have a massive track record to get that type of debt.
yep,
So, you're blue chip. You're like the top of the top to get that type of debt. So, most people aren't getting that type of debt.
yeah,
So that's another thing that's expected to happen, Mike, is over the next year or two, a lot of those refinances are coming up. And so
yep.
there's supposed to be a lot of distress in the commercial market because rates are so different. And that's one of the reasons that I think they're trying to drive the treasury yields down to lower rates.
We'll be buying commercial properties.
It's a good opportunity right now. You guys should start looking right now for commercial deals if you're not already. This is the time. This is the time.
What are you looking for?
So I'm solely focused on fixing up Northeast Pennsylvania and making it a better place.
That's
And
your next 8 years, you said, right?
8 years, yeah,
And
residential housing. We're gonna fix all the housing in Northeast
and then after you fix it up, by the 10th year, we're going to World War III,
PA. Possibly, but at
and
least we're gonna have
and
good
then
housing.
we'll start all over again?
No, we're gonna have good housing, and that means that people are gonna have good places to live. Maybe they and actually, Lackawanna County in that area, one of the major employers, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics, like a lot of defense contractors actually up in Northeast PA. So we want to make sure that we provide quality housing for those workers. And anyway, I'm just kidding mostly on that part. But I do think World War III, like India, so today, India, so there was a civil war in India a long time ago. Pakistan branched off, Muslim majority, India's Hindu majority. India just announced that all trade is suspended between Pakistan today. And India also is like kicking out all the Pakistani citizens and stuff. And they just told anybody in Pakistan that's Indian, you guys need to get out now. So like they're about to go to war with Pakistan, or they're like threatening to. They just shut off the water to Pakistan, which is an active war according to Pakistan. There's a lot of turbulence geopolitically right now. So what are good investments during turbulence in geopolitics, Mike? Do you know?
No, you tell me. You're
Commodities. So
you're on
gold,
a roll, dude.
yeah, real
Yeah.
estate.
You see the guy, what's his name? He's always on TV. Buy
Oh,
gold.
like gold is up, dude. Gold is up like
Always.
crazy right now.
Yeah.
And then also oil though, companies that produce
Yep.
oil. And I think so like I during this downturn, I bought a big oil company, right? Because at the end of the day, guys, petroleum is what currently makes tanks move. So like I don't see any electric
Yeah.
tanks. And there's
Well,
no charging stations in the
they
middle
tried to build them.
of
They put solar panels on them.
it. Yeah, that's my thought. I'll stop my presentation now. That was the gist of it. We went over a lot of
That
the
was
current
great.
events. So, what'd you think?
That was awesome. I learned
Good.
a lot. Yeah, where are we at now? I just said, so you're gonna cut that out?
Yeah, I'm gonna cut your.
Oh my goodness. So our video doesn't actually Jake puts a program in there and it starts cutting it all out. It cuts out the ums, and
Yeah.
if we don't talk for 2 seconds and we pause, it cuts it out.
Yeah. The reason we're cutting so much, guys, is not because we're like taking things out. It's because we want to save you, the consumer, the most amount of time and deliver the most amount of value possible. We don't want to waste any of your time. So if we can save 75 seconds of ums, we're gonna get rid of those. So that's my perspective. We're gonna try it out. We're gonna try one this way. Mike doesn't really like
Yeah,
that.
I was he so Jake doesn't tell me, he just goes and does it, right? It's it's basically what partnerships do, and I'm going, how did he down I'm going to I went to our software and there's no skips. I
Yeah.
go to YouTube and it's like, "Eh, oh, oh, meh," and
It's not that bad.
I'm thinking, "What's going on?" People are thinking, "Something's wrong with our show." I call Jake, "Hey, it's skipping." "Yeah, I took out the ums, the more than 2 seconds." I said, "Oh, it's nice to know."
Yeah, if
So,
anybody doesn't like that, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the comments.
yeah, I don't think anybody's still on after a minute. I
No,
mean, 1
probably
hour,
not.
but
But
we cut out all the ums, we're about 59 minutes.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We might just let this one roll, though. This wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good. Let's wrap it up.
Yes,
Thanks
let's wrap it
for
up.
thanks for
Hey,
joining us, guys. This is gonna be live a little bit late, but we're gonna deliver every single week. Join us here every single week to go over whether we have a new guest or current events or whatever. And we will be having a large in-person event very soon.
very soon. Yes, we're getting on it. And please, if you'd like to be on our show, reach out to us, DM us, email us, find us on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you want. Just look at our names, Mike Mazzadona, Jake Arnold. You can find us. Jake's the real Jake Arnold.
At the real Jake Arnold.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
You can find our info on the bottom.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you, guys.